Hello, everybody out in there in the world. It is I, Marc Bernardin, and welcome to another episode of Black Man Beyond, which tends to happen if you're a longtime listener, first time caller or not, when the great and mighty, wonderful Kevin Smith is on the road in the world out there doing Kev Smith shit. So then when that happens, you get me. So here I am. It's me. Um, Let me see what I can tell you about what has been going on in my world before we get to the meat of the show. And by meat, I mean both MEAT and MEET, because I'm about to introduce you to somebody who I'm hoping that you have met before. But if you haven't, this is my great pleasure to introduce you to my newest friend. Um, I don't make friends often because I'm an old man and I'm a bit of a miser and I'm a get off my lawn kind of dude. So you know, new friends aren't like just dropping off trees. Because you also like as an adult, you forget how to make friends, I think. That was especially if you were an awkward kid in like junior high and high school and college, and you were like making friends was never your jam. Um, but it's good to kind of exercise those muscles. It's one of the things I like about being a TV writer is that like every 6 months I have to make new friends because every job is about 6 months long, and it's like, all right, it's it's a new okay. I'm going to a new camp. I got to meet all these new kids, and hopefully we'll get together and hang out, and the rain won't make us angry, and we'll all eat lunch together, and it'll be fun. Most of the time, it is. Sometimes it's not, but it's fucking grown up life. If you put your pads on and hit somebody, um, is what I told somebody earlier today who was complaining about. No, he wasn't. I was complaining. He had mentioned there was some piece that a critic had written about the unearthed 9 episodes of Joey, the Friends spinoff that just dropped and was uncovered on the internet. And this critic wrote a piece, but the critic had never seen Friends. And I was like, here's my problem. I'm not sure you should be allowed to take money from somebody as a television critic and not have seen the most popular television show for the last 30 years. I think it's almost malpractice to do that. I have no problem with a person not having seen Friends, whatever. I have no problem with a journalist not having seen Friends. But it's like if you're going to review a thing that seems fundamentally based on pre-existing knowledge of Friends and you haven't seen Friends, I don't know. It's like I'm a movie critic and I never saw The Matrix. How can you do that? I think that's wrong. I think it's service journalism and you're being a bad service journalist. So um, get that shit off my track. I don't like it. I don't believe it. And you could hate the show Friends. Like that's fine. You just need to have working familiarity with massive cultural moments if your job is to be a cultural critic. That's just me. That's my tiny soapbox that I'm going to get on. I'll get on bigger soapboxes later because once we bring Princess on, oh, did I tell you it's Princess Weeks, the great and powerful and wonderful and majestic Princess Weeks? Um, we're going to talk about Wicked 2, which I saw this afternoon, have thoughts. The Running Man, which I saw last week, also have thoughts. Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I'm not sure how many possessives you can put in front of a title, but they're trying their best. Frankenstein and Pluribus, Vince Gilligan's new show on Apple TV. I will tell you that of those 4 things, 2 of them are going to make it onto my year-end list of the top 10 new awesome things I've seen this year. 2 of them won't. I wonder if you could guess off the top of your head which one is going to be which. But we won't spoil anything. We'll save the inside of this nut for later. Because sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't. Almond Joy has nuts, but mounds don't. I almost said pounds don't, and I don't even know why. Um, Whatever. And listen, it's 8 p.m. for me. It's 11 p.m. for Princess. I'm punchy as fuck. Um, you can't see her yet, but she seems like wide-eyed and like ready to go, but also I'm twice her age. So like she has the youth and energy of somebody who's like, I don't know, living. I have the youth and energy of somebody on the brink of demise. So I'm gonna drink my tea because that's how this night's gonna go. Mmm, mmm, warm leaf juice. Um, so before we get into it with Princess, we have a couple bills to pay. Also, before I pay a bill or two, I don't know when we're going to get Kevin back. I'm hoping we get him back before the end of the year so that we can have our traditional year end where I tell him the 10 things that I really loved. And he says, "Oh, I saw that." Because he will never tell you the 10 things that he loves because he's a judicious person on the internet. Um, and it makes all the sense in the world. I get all of it. But I'm going to be that dude and I'm going to spill because I'm an evangelist. I love to preach. I love to share. I love to expose. Hold on. Time out. Strike that. Reverse it. I like to bring new things to people. I don't want to expose people to anything. That feels weird. That's an erroneous choice of words. Um, so yes, before we get into it, we're going to pay some bills. And this episode of Fat Man Beyond, Black Man Beyond, is brought to you by the good folks at Chubbies. Chubbies, yes, for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your purchase at Chubbies with the promo code BEYOND at checkout. But hey, if it's Black Friday, skip the code. Take advantage of even bigger markdowns during their exclusive Black Friday sale. Just head to Chubbies Shorts, CHUBBIESSHORTS.com. Make sure to support our show and tell them that we sent you. Are you guys not familiar with Chubbies? I don't understand why you're not familiar with Chubbies. We were talking about Chubbies quite a bit in the summer because they made these fucking boss shorts. They were like the comfiest shorts that a person could wear, especially if you were a person who may or may not be one you could call chubby. Super comfortable, super breathable. Let everything that's supposed to get air. But now we're in winter, man. And like, if you want to look sharp when you meet the family this holiday, you got to check out our friends at Chubbies. From family dinners to holiday parties, Chubbies has you covered. So you can focus on being yourself and letting the good vibes roll. Good vibes. Good. Their stuff is so comfy, it should come with like a warning label. And as the temps drop and the weather gets grim, their flannels, pullovers, and quarter zips keep you warm, stylish, and ready for anything. From freezing your tail off at the football game to crushing donuts at the pumpkin patch to holding court around the bonfire. This holiday season, spread cheer and a little drip with Chubbies. Perfect for upgrading your winter rotation or gifting to that one person who already has everything. And like I said, I'm all about the Chubbies in the summer. I'm about to be all about the Chubbies in the winter. They got this flannel overshirt that I very much dig. I did not expect that they would have an NFL by Chubbies collection, but I'm very glad that I did because I have to rep my New York Giants, despite the fact that they're the New York Giants. I understand that there are some teams out there who have never won a Super Bowl. And I'm not sure if it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all, but loving and losing fucking sucks. So, hey, I will 100% buy some Giants gear from Chubbies because I both support my team and I like to support Chubbies. And hey, if you're the type of guy who gets around, Chubbies Everywhere pants should be in your top drawer. Lightweight, durable, and water resistant, ready to tackle whatever the day throws your way. So, like I said, for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off a purchase at Chubbies with the promo code BEYOND at checkout. But if it's Black Friday, skip the code, take advantage of even bigger markdowns during their exclusive Black Friday sale. Just head to chubbieshorts.com, CHUBBIESSHORTS.com. Make sure to support our show and tell them we sent you. Thank you to the good folks at Chubbies for helping to support this episode of Fat/Black Man Beyond. All right. Money business out of the way. Let's welcome some royalty. I met this young woman in what you would have to call like a podcasting shotgun wedding, where I was familiar with her because she does great work, but I had not met her until the good folks at Spoke Media were like, "Hey, we're going to do an official It Welcome to Dairy podcast, and I think we'd like Princess Weeks to be your host." And I said, "Fuck yeah, let's do that shit." And that is how I met Princess Weeks. Welcome to the show, Princess Weeks.
With you, and I'm a huge fan of this podcast anyway, so I was just like, I can be up at 11 p.m. I also have my hot leaf water, so I am ready to go, and I just love you so much. You're such a cool person.
Oh, thank you. But the thing that I realized is that despite the fact that we've been podcasting like 3 times a week for the last 4 months,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and listen, guys, it's the best job in the world.
absolutely.
The folks at HBO have been wonderful. Our producers at Spoke Media have been great. The HBO has unlocked everybody we could possibly want to talk to on this podcast, and everybody we've talked to has been great. But um, I never really got to know Princess. Like we literally showed up and was like, all right, go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in New York for New York Comic Con for all of like 48 hours. And we went out to this group dinner, which was great.
Perfect.
But I mean, it was the blurtiest blurred dinner you can possibly imagine. You know, four relatively well-to-do nerds dropping in on a Cuban restaurant where they had to sit us in the back because we were already too loud.
Disaster.
Uh,
Every stereotype was there in alignment, but it was beautiful. And you're a great tipper.
that's fucking. It's the. I'm not sure if my white listeners will understand this, but there is the innate desire, at least on my part, to try my best to counter stereotypes out in the world. And there's a stereotype that Black people are bad tippers. Now,
Yeah.
is it my responsibility to single-handedly try to change the impression of other Black people in the world by wantonly over tipping? Not my
Yes.
responsibility, but I do it anyway. And honestly, I learned it from Kev. Like the very first time I had lunch with Kev, and I saw the tip that he left, which I will never leave because like I don't got it like that. But I was just like, did this motherfucker like really? And he didn't even shrug. And I was like, man, someday I'm gonna tip half that.
I'm gonna get close and then do. No, I'm the exact same way. I over tip chronically. Even if it's just a cup of coffee, I'm like, you can have the 15%. I just want you to always know that I'm with you in the tipping culture wars. I do the
I
exact
mean,
same thing, and
I
it
even
feels
tip for
good.
it feels good, but I do tip for shit that I don't need to tip for. When it's like, hey, can I have that bagel that you neither made or prepared or just all right, fucking 20%, I guess. And you literally just walked back there and picked a bagel off a shelf and brought it to me. Boop, 20%.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that it was a lovely night, but it was also a group night. And so like you and I have never just fucking sat down and talked about anything.
That's true.
And so I felt like the best thing to do is to do it in front of, I don't know, let's call it like 10,000 people.
Monetization. What really is friendship if you can't put a number, a view count behind it? That's what Twitch has
100%.
ahead of us.
I mean, like, sure, we could do it like regular people and just like get on a Zoom just for us, but I don't even know what that is.
Nah, we gotta write off those Zoom payments, so we gotta
You
we
know,
gotta get it work.
not since the pandemic have I been on a Zoom for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, no, no. There has to be money at the end of this somewhere.
Exactly. Can you believe that Skype lost that war? Like Skype had all the infrastructure ready
No.
to be and then Zoom came out of nowhere. We're just like, nah.
I mean, the biggest fumble bag I think I've ever seen was Skype. Just like, what we're good. What do we need to do? We're the
Yeah.
guys.
Right? They were the Kleenex of video calls, and then nope, Zoom took over in like a
Yeah,
millisecond.
like 3 months. It's like, what's a Skype?
Exactly. Ugh, perfect.
Um, so I think what I'd like to do is, and I also know that you have aspirations of being a professional writer person
Oh
um,
yes.
in TV or film, and one of the skills that one must have if that's a job you'd like to take is not even the writing. Like, yeah, you got to be able to write, but that's whatever. I know you can write. Um, you've got to give good meeting. And there's
Mm,
going to be a series of what they call general meetings that don't seem to have any real purpose other than for somebody who's on the other side of that line to say, hey, so tell me your story. And you have to have a version of your biography that you can tell somebody in anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes
mm-hmm.
um, that tells them what you want them to know about them. I used to have those meetings. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm awesome at this. And they were just kind of wild and rambly and a little like, just whatever came to mind. And I didn't get any jobs. And and then Glenn Mazzara was leading a workshop that I was lucky enough to get into, and he said, "No, you need to customize this for the job you want. And everything you say needs to be telling them something you want them to know about you. And
Mm-hmm.
it can be funny, and it can be endearing, it can be emotional, but everything has to have a point." And once I started bringing that sort of on board and taking it to heart, then I started getting jobs because I do give good meeting. So hey, says, what's a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, to your point, I think the reason why I've always wanted to tell stories and write is because growing up, my mom worked a lot. But when we did have time together and she would braid my hair, we'd watch TV together. We would watch Xena Warrior Princess, Twilight Zone, westerns like Bonanza and Gunsmoke and Hogan's Heroes. And so to me, pulp culture is like a shared love language. I think that there's so much about the beauty of television and how it allows you to just tell this long form story week after week, and the excitement of sitting down with someone that you love. And so for me, my mom always really taught me to love so many different kinds of stories. And so there are times where I'm talking with people and they're like, "How do you understand that reference?" And I'm like, "I know all the references. I I can talk about anything from the Carol Burnett show to Gem and the Holograms to K-pop Demon Hunters." And I think that's just why I love telling stories. Like I started doing my YouTube channel simply because Twilight was really popular. I did not enjoy it, and I wanted to complain about how, after all these years of being a loser, vampires are finally popular, and it's with a vampire book series I hate. And from there, I just found an audience of people who have stuck with me since I was around 16 years old, who just really appreciated seeing like a black girl talk about nerdy stuff. And I've just carried that ethos throughout my entire career of just being authentically myself, constantly improving, and loving the craft in all of its forms. Like, I genuinely love books and television and essays, and I love all the work that I've been seeing come out. And I think it's fun. It's fun to do this. And while it's definitely at times algorithmically very overwhelming, I also genuinely love getting to meet new people. And just today I went to get some writing done at a local bookstore, and this beautiful like black queer couple came up to me and was like, "I love your videos." And I'm like, "That's why I do it." Like when I see literally the exact kind of person that I've always wanted to feel seen by my work come up to me, like, that's worth everything, because that is how you really know that you're making a difference. And that's what makes me employable to anyone who might be watching this. I have my pulse on the people, young and old. And I think I'm a professional nerd, and I use my master's degree to overthink about anime, and it pays the bills, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Check out the big brain on Princess. You and you're like, I'm going to gently drop that. I got a master's degree.
Toss, toss.
Hey.
Finished it at 24. It's nothing. It's whatever.
Hmm. I remember my grandmother would ask me like every year after I graduated with my undergrad degree, "So you think about going back to school?" I was like, "Grandma, I just got out. Like, I'm not looking to go back in at all." And she would ask me that every year, and every year I'd be like, "Nah, I'm good." Um, and even though she passed like a while ago, I still think about telling somebody, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah.
I've never really like reassessed, like, do I want to get a graduate? Nah, I think I'm good.
Yeah. That's how I feel about a PhD. Like, the idea of being Dr. Princess, mwah, love
Oh,
it. It sounds so good. But I just really, it's like a at least a 5-year commitment. And honestly, I have commitment issues now, so I can't really do it. That's why I went in right in through undergraduate. But I take classes in different kind of things. Like, I'm taking a screenwriting class, I'm taking a sewing class. Like, I'm doing it drip by drip. One day I'll be Dr. Princess, but that day is not in the immediate time.
I mean, I think that what needs to happen first is you need to sell like a Hallmark movie called Dr. Princess,
Exactly.
where it's, the princess of fucking Ethiopia who is also a doctor, but then gets to marry some doctor without borders who like doesn't know what he's doing, but
Hmm.
she pretends not to be a princess at first because she's always been a princess. It's coming to America, but with Dr. Princess.
Exactly.
Um,
Returning to America.
coming to Ethiopia.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, I mean, fucking, you should do that. It's too good of a title to not be a thing. That either you make
Exactly.
real or fictional.
Exactly. And then I could have a radio show if, the radio was still a art form that people invested in. But in my heart it is. It's just podcasting. But yeah, I'm always fighting the black urge to get another degree because I really just want to focus on my writing and like actually like do the thing that I've always wanted to do. But I've been reading Brene Brown. I'm getting rid of the shame industrial complex. I'm just going for it. Like I'm living a delusional life right now, and it's really been fun.
Excellent. I think listeners of the podcast will know that I live in between two spaces. Inside me are two wolves. One wolf is a kid in the 90s who very much dug anime.
Mm.
Like, but it was the anime of the 90s. So it was like Ghost in the Shell and Akira and Ninja Scroll and that kind of thing. Um and the early sort of Miyazaki stuff.
Yeah.
And then that wolf went to sleep. And that wolf has been dormant for a good long while.
Hmm.
And every now and again, I want to like wake that wolf up and be like, bruv, what's anime looking like today?
What's hot in
And
the
I
streets?
I know there's good stuff out there, but it is already it's so overwhelming. Um, it is so just this titanic wall that I would have to climb to even begin to understand what the fuck anime is like in the year in the year of our Beyonce 2025.
Right.
Um, where should I start?
Uh, someone asked me this question on a date, so I am prepared to answer this.
Excellent. And I will buy
So
you dinner if I have to.
you already did it once. I'm paying it forward now. Um, so right now, I would say if you like fantasy, like if you're someone who likes Lord of the Rings and that kind of like epic big fantasy, but something more like emotionally driven, I would recommend either Free Ren Beyond Journey. It is a story about this elf mage who, she was on a quest with her friends, and then 50 years later, one of her companions passes away, and she kind of goes through this existential crisis of what do I understand about humanity, and then goes on another quest
Mm.
with new friends and new adventures. It's really good. 22 episodes, 20 minutes long, really good dub, so you can watch it in English. Another one that's a little bit softer is Delicious in Dungeon. It's like a dungeon crawler anime, but they're cooking the monsters as well as defeating them. Very funny. There's a lot of macabre humor, and it is like really a great solid like adventure anime that you can watch with like your kids and stuff.
Mm.
Moving up to the next tier of it's the big three for me is Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen. All three of these are good, but you have to pick one of them to invest in properly, uh, because there's a lot of content. So Demon Slayer is great if you want sword fighting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sword fighting, really good period drama, a lot of really cool angst. Jujutsu Kaisen is good if you want more ghost lore, more hand to hand combat, and if you don't mind seeing every character you like die. And then Chainsaw Man is good if you want a really touching character journey about a young boy who is figuring out his place in the world while also being a complete and utter simp. He is motivated by the desire to touch boobs. Um, so he's just like me for real. And it's funny and cute and charming. Uh, highly recommend.
All right.
Yeah,
Uh,
those are the heavy hitters. Don
those
Don,
are
someone else will mention. It's like a romantic comedy with aliens and ghosts. So there's a lot of good stuff right now.
all right. And what about Dan to Dan?
Dan to Dan is really good. It's a new popular one. It's about these high school students. One of them believes in aliens, one of them believes in ghosts, and they decide to prove each other that they're wrong. And then on the same night, they get uh taken by aliens and taken by ghosts.
Alien ghosts?
Yes, and it's really good.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll make this my New Year's resolution. because I mean we are never getting back to the gym, so fuck that. I might
Right?
as, I might as well just be like, you know what? This is what it's going to be now. Just me
Exactly.
and Netflix and Hulu and Crunchyroll, and that's all I'm doing.
Just get a standing desk and just do it while you're watching it. That's what I do. I
All
work
right,
out when I watch anime. It helps me feel like I did
alive.
something. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. I have a list now,
Yes, you do.
which is good. I have
On
my
your
homework.
legal pad.
I do. I do. I wrote them down as you were talking to me, so I have them now. Um, awesome. Well, tell me what it was like. You grew up in Brooklyn, or did you?
Yes.
Okay. What was childhood like for a young lady nerd in Brooklyn?
You know, I really had a solid childhood. I had like the usual sort of like immigrant parent malaise of like sometimes they don't get me, but I had very supportive parents. They were both very dorky in different ways. My mom loved like Chung Liu Fat movies, Jet Li movies, and that was like our thing together. And then my dad was really into musicals and jazz, and so like on the one hand, I would like uh go and like watch like go to the movies with my mom to watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And then
Mm.
my dad would be like, okay, we're going to sit down and watch the entire 10 Commandments for 7 hours on ABC Family because it's a classic. And so they were just really supportive that we were always watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and doing trivia stuff. I will say I was a very sensitive kid growing up, and I had a lot of like you, I was a little annoying. I think when people talk about like, "Oh, was I bullied?" No, but if they did bully me, I understand why. It's like I didn't know who I was. I was such a people pleaser. I was very emotional and like distraught, and so it's just like I cried a lot. I gave my classmates headaches, and while I was dealing with things, it was very much like I didn't really know who I was until I was in my 20s. So it was definitely that kind of growing pains. But that was self-inflicted. I very early on decided to be precocious and read too much, and that was on me.
Yeah, you're in
I
the
should
book
have read
learner.
less. Exactly. That book learning really messed me up. You read Anne of Green Gables and you're like, "Whoa, these orphans." Uh it's hard growing up. Your
I
parents
will
could just die.
I will never forget. Like I grew up in the Bronx. I spent like my first 10 years in the Bronx.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget that there was, I was on the stoop of my house reading some fucking, you know what it was? It was probably the Three Musketeers, but
Mm.
the big little book version of Three
Yeah, that
Musketeers.
little fatty.
Yeah, that little that little brick of a book. And I distinctly remember some teenager walking by and asking me, "What you reading for?"
Mm.
Not what are you reading? Why are you reading?
Yeah.
And
The
I was
Will
like,
Smith classic.
yeah, I was like, oh, oh, okay. I'm on punishment. They're making me. He was like, I got you. Stay up, young blood. I'm like, okay, thank you, sir.
Right. Little did they know you were reading a classic by one of the great mixed race writers of time.
I know, which I wouldn't discover for another like 30 years. It's like,
hmm
wait a minute.
He's
Hey,
black.
it's blackish.
I remember the first time I saw a picture of Alexander Dumas, and I was just like, "How come he got 4C and I don't?" I was so like, but he is Haitian. That's concentrated blackness. But
Yeah, it is.
it's concentrated, but it stayed in there. I was like, "All right."
Yeah, it survived all of it.
hmm
Um, well, you know what, Princess, it's nice to meet
It's nice to meet you, Mark.
you.
It's nice to be seen.
Yay. Were you in gifted and talented classes when you were younger?
I didn't want to be. My brother was. My brother is the. He went to Brown. He was in gifted programs. I realized at a very young age that if something was gonna keep me away from watching Digimon and my Saturday morning cartoons, I didn't want to do it. I didn't learn how to swim because I was like, Mom, I have missed the episode where Gatomon transforms into Anjouamon once already. I can't go back to school and be behind on my watching so I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't learn to swim, I can't do karate, it's not my fault that everything has to be Saturday morning. I'll do Saturday afternoons, but I'm not doing anything that's keeping me away from my television.
Yeah, like I was in gifted and talented for a couple of years, and then it wasn't until much, much later did I realize that, like, oh, we were all probably on the spectrum and they didn't know
Mm.
what to do with us. So they just stuck us all together
Mm-hmm.
and, like, let us be precocious and ask too many questions and not socialize very well. And, ingest this content faster than we should, but not have any idea what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call them gifted and talented, which is how we're going to get parents to drop their kids off in here.
Right. And it's also just like the amount of emotion. Like my brother, love him. I don't think he had a full summer holiday until after he graduated college. And every time people ask me, like, "Are you ever jealous of your brother? He went to a Ivy League." I'm like, "No, I was playing Sims too. I was great. I had a great time. Expanded edition. I was building families and playing God." Anytime someone wronged me, just take out the stairs of the pool. I really wasn't missing out. I learned better lessons.
Yes, and you were a sometimes merciful God.
Sometimes, you have to be a little Old Testament with it. They be playing
Okay.
games. It's like, how many times have I tell you, stop worshiping these calves? Enough is enough.
Nothing good will come from this.
Exactly.
What was the first job you had that paid you real money? I'm not going to say real money, just paid you money.
Okay, so the first job I had that paid me money was I worked as in the I was a barista at a Barnes and Nobles on Court Street, which is no longer around. I killed
Mm.
it. I was a barista there, and it was so daunting. The first day that I had to like make coffee and everything, I like almost cried because I burned myself. I was very distraught. But eventually now I could honestly make most of those frappuccinos in my sleep.
Mhm.
And then I eventually went to go work at the Strand bookstore in Manhattan, which was like a really good experience. I have met some of my lifelong friends in retail, so I always have an allegiance to that. And then my first like real grown up job I got when I was 26, and
Mhm.
that was working at the Mary Sue as like an entertainment journalist there. And it was the first time that I was really doing, I had like an office, and I had a
Ooh.
chair, and I was getting mail, and I was the head of the book department, and I was in all of these meetings, and I met so many amazing people. Like I got to go to the Black Panther premiere and meet like everybody. I have a picture with Whoopi. I have a picture with everybody. Chadwick, everybody. So I that was probably that bulk of time taught me so much about myself. And I think it gave me a level of discernment that is very useful when you're navigating a world where everything is happening very quickly online.
Things were slower then.
Yeah, there's lots of times where I'm like, what are the sources for this? And I'm just like, let me go and interrogate it. And then I see it and I'm like, no sources. Got
This
it.
is more an essay.
Yeah, this is your opinion, bro. And like, that's fine, but we shouldn't link to that as like a reputable source of information.
Nice. Well, it is always good to encounter another former reformed journalist in the wild.
We do
Um,
what we can.
we do what we can. We survived the wars. We survived the bots. We got out. Yeah, I'm not gonna say alive. I'm not gonna say intact, but we made it out.
We did make it.
Speaking of a thing that I made it out alive from, I saw Wicked for Good today.
Ah, mm.
Have you seen Wicked for Good?
Oh, I did. I dressed up in everything.
Um, Tell me your history with Wicked.
Okay, so when I was a teenager, I made AMVs online. So I would make animated music videos to like Disney movies and Avatar: The Last Airbender, and like Wicked was like a huge part of that. I loved the music for it. Defying Gravity, I was like, huh? I was really into it. And then I saw the stage show, and I was like, oh, this sucks. And I did not like it. And then I read the book, didn't particularly care for that either, but I understood what it was doing. And then a few years ago, before the first part of the movie came out, my friend Lindsay Ellis has a podcast called Music Splaining, and I re-watched the stage show. And the first half, I was like, wow, why do I hate this show so much? Then the second half happened, and I was like, and there it is. And so when when I heard it was being split into two parts, I was like, girl, why? And then I saw the first part and I cried like a little bitch, and I enjoyed it and I ate it all up, nom nom nom. And then I saw Wicked for Good and I was like, yep, this is not a good movie. And I knew it wasn't gonna be, but I was like, these lesbians is crazy. Let's go. I was like, whatever sapphic psychosis that these two women have, I'm buying it. I'm eating my. I was like, this is great. This is a very. It was a very enjoyable, like, 90s 2000s action adventure flick that would go marathon on TNT.
Yes, fair enough.
What did you think of it, Mark?
I do not have the same background with Wicked as you do. I saw the stage play like 25 years ago. Um, Probably with Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel. I
Mm.
don't remember. It was forever ago. Um, the first part, like Wicked Part One or whatever they called it,
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Like it was on my top 10 that year. Like it is this incredibly emotional story of an outcast who for the first time is being seen. And she finally thinks she finds her place in the world. And then she's betrayed by those that she thought she could trust and she loved. And I'm like, that's great. That's amazing. Like there's this deep emotional chord to that story. Um, Cynthia and Ariana are very, very good. The songs are bangers. Jeff Goldblum's a riot. Like no part of that doesn't work for me. But I feel like the problem with the second movie, which it's it's well done. Like they spared no expense in the grand John Hammond style of they built all of these fucking sets. They cast it within an inch of its life. They got two of the best singers in the world to still remain in these roles. Like it's an incredibly well wrought movie, but it's not really about anything because that emotional story from part one of I'm finally being seen is, oh yeah, the people I thought were awful are awful. Um, and so it's people I thought were awful are awful. I'm going to sing some songs. I'm going to connect a lot of plot that needs to get connected that seems unmotivated by character actions. It's like, why is your sister suddenly deciding she can do magic? I don't know, because we got to have this. Why does this happen? I don't know, because this has to happen. And so it just got very by the numbers, very sort of diagrammatic.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody really grows or learns anything, and that is completely different and separate from this is also a story of a colored girl with all the power who does everything she can to help the white girl with no power or talent rise. And white girl at the end of this movie rises. And the black girl, sorry, the green girl is
We
is
all know
basically
green is black. Piccolo, that's us.
that's us. Yeah. I mean, Yoda's my favorite black character. He's my
Mm.
favorite magical Negro. Um, but like all of the racial semiotics aside, like it's just not that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you add those parts of it, you're like, oh, really? Like, I mean, I guess, but did nobody see this? And if you saw it, you were okay with it. Okay. All right. So like the first movie, I bawled
Mm-hmm.
like twice. Easy. This movie, I was like, yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess it ends well, and I guess you got to do this stuff, and I guess, and I guess, and I guess. But I was never moved by it.
Yeah.
And that is it feels like a failure, especially when the first one did so much moving.
Absolutely. I think the only moment that I was genuinely moved is, and I guess spoilers for everyone, is like after For Good, where they have that dual shot of them. And
Mhm.
I was just like, oh, that's why they're so crazy on this press tour. Because I feel like they have really electric chemistry. But what you're saying is totally correct. And I think has always been sort of the issue with like the stage show is it sets up all of this really intense plotting, even when, the characters aren't racialized in the same way. But then it all kind of fizzles out. Like, I don't, I like, I love Jonathan Bailey. He is a charismatic actor. Great that he's hot. But I'm like, why is a man here? Like, I don't know. Fiero, I'm like, I don't care. And I think genuinely, it's just like the fact that we had to speed run through The Wizard of Oz. Like, and it's just like, why are you guys here? And it just is tainted by the stage show. And the thing about it is that the stage show is very popular, even though it's always had these same critical issues. And so, like, they can't change much, but a lot of things should have been changed for a while. Like in the show, the Nessero subplot, where like she gets the shoes and then can walk. When I rewatched that, and I was like, they still have this part in here. Like, I was like, that should have been axed a long time ago. And I think also, because not a lot of it is explained in the second act, if you don't know like the difference between the Wizard of Oz book, the Wizard of Oz movie, that the fact that there's a whole separate Wicked book, and then there's this play, a lot of stuff doesn't really make sense ever.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is weird.
and the thing that I kept hoping for, and I knew wasn't going to happen, but it's the feeling that I got in Inglorious Bastards when I'm like, are they gonna fucking kill Hitler? Like, I didn't think you could kill Hitler. We're killing Hitler? Holy shit! Like, they could have decided to deviate from the source material. They could have decided that, like, you know what you thought was the Wizard of Oz? Not this story. Like, we're leading you up to the edge of what you think is going to happen, and then a totally fucking different thing happens, because why the fuck not?
Right.
You know, and it's just that sort of failure of imagination, I think, or just balls to be like, you know what, fucking, what if we did this?
Right.
And somehow everybody got on board with, this is radical, but what if we tried this? That's sort of what at the end of it, I was like, you know what, okay, I mean, I understand all the reasons why all the choices were made, and it's making all of the money, so like nobody can really point to them and say you made a mistake. Like, they're gonna make $1 billion on this movie, but
Yeah. And that's how I feel about the show. It's very dry. And I think also I had just watched The Wizard of Oz, the original one, the other day, and I'm just like, well, the real Toto never had to be on a leash. So every time I just saw the leash Toto, I'm like, free him. Free Toto. I mean, to freedom, Toto. But yeah, it's just like, it was too safe. And I think ultimately, like, the fact that Elphaba and Glinda, for everything, like, don't share like a kiss or anything. I was like, if I was like, John Chu, if you just let these two girls just even a chaste peck, my soul will be yours. I still hold on possession of my soul.
yes, it still belongs to you.
For now.
Speaking of a movie that for me suffered from a failure in the testicle department, The Running Man.
I did not see this.
You did not see this. Are you familiar with the book?
Yes, I've read the book and I've seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Which, you know, those two things are kind of barely associated with each other. Like, his name is Ben Richards and there's a TV show, and that is about all that the movie and that Schwarzenegger, the book and the Schwarzenegger movie have in common. I kind of like the Schwarzenegger movie. It's dumb as fuck, but it was also like 1986, and I kind of expected things to be a little dumb as fuck. I love the book. The book, I like deep affection for that book, because I read it in 1988 or whenever the hell, you know. I think I read it after I saw the movie and was like, why didn't they just make this?
Right.
This is so much better than that. And like, then 9/11 happened, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that this is why you couldn't make that, because spoilers, the book ends, spoilers for a 25-year-old book. No, not even, like a 40-year-old book. The story ends with Ben Richards, and it follows suit in the movie. So again, this is also a spoiler for both. Ben Richards hijacks a plane, and in the book, the enemy, basically the totalitarian state, is created by the network, of which the Running Man is basically the largest, most popular version of that thing. But it is responsible for the oppression, for the income instability, for the class warfare, for all of the systemic evils of this particular version of Earth can be traced back to what if this corporation was allowed to own and run everything and had carte blanche to do anything, including hunt citizens for sport on the street. And so your protagonist, the reason why he's in the shittiest position possible is because of the network. He can't get a job. He's been blacklisted. His kid is sick. He can't make money. He signs up for the most dangerous game in the world and finds himself on a jet that he can direct anywhere. And he directs it at the network tower, which is basically like the White House of this version of the world. And they crash into it and they destroy it. And it's like, oh shit, that's metal. And then 9/11. It's like, oh, we're never doing this.
Yeah.
Ever. But then, like, all right, well, 20 years passes. Maybe 25 years passes. Maybe. And like this movie does kind of get up to the brink of that. And like they hijack a plane, they put him on it, and then they wuss out at the very, very end. And it's like it was very symptomatic of what I feel like most of that story's problem was, is that Edgar Wright, and I love him as a filmmaker, he's a pop filmmaker. And when his movies work, it's because they're these pop artifacts of just like, we're doing car chases at the best fucking level, and we're doing video games, and we're doing zombies, and we're doing, alien invasions, and we're just having a fucking blast. It is all just soundtrack and synthesis and emotion and intensity and just vibes. The vibes are what it's all about.
Right.
But this story requires grit. Like the story requires like Alfonso Cuarón. It requires it wants to be children of men. Like that's the vibe that it's calling for. Edgar Wright is not that guy. And it doesn't mean that I don't like Edgar Wright. It's just that's not his tool shed. Glenn Powell is not that guy. I'm still not convinced he's a movie star. I'm convinced Hollywood really wants him to be a movie star. They're trying their best, as they do, every like 10 years with some okay white guy to like, please be a movie star. Please, we can't put Michael B. Jordan in everything. We need a couple of white guys on the bench.
Exactly.
We'd rather not. But he seems to be the one who's doing the thing. Do we have anybody else on the roster? And so, Glenn Powell is this year's edition of that. He's fine, but he doesn't have that grit. So it feels slight. It feels glossy. It feels like a television show, as opposed to a look at what true horror is like in a totalitarian regime run by money-hungry corporations.
And of course, those money-hungry corporations are the ones that are funding all of these things. So it's like, I wonder.
Yeah.
And I think even though it's not The Running Man, I have been disappointed about seeing some choices that people have been making when readapting King's work. I was really, really excited for the Carrie upcoming Carrie, I think it was a movie. I love all of the work that creator does. His name is escaping me. Matt Flanagan. I love his work. But I was just like, when I saw that they didn't cast a fat girl to play Carrie, I was like, then what's the point? Like at this point, it's like that's like a very key part of her like entire character, and we've had 3 skinny Carries. We can't we can't get one fat actress to play the role and go off on people, especially now. It's just like, what's the point? And I find that there are so many times when I'll see the adaptation of a King work, and they just pull back. Like I remember the remake of Pet Sematary was so awful. I couldn't believe how like they wussed out on every single thing that was on the page, because I think Pet Sematary is one of his most haunting books. I love it so much. It's probably one of my top favorites. And I get it. You can't have a killer 2-year-old. That's weird. But then you make it a 9-year-old, and then they're a zombie family at the end. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is missing the entire point. If you want to do a feel-good movie, do something else. Don't put it back. Don't put the name on it. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, like it's just, why are we doing it?
Why?
Other than like, I get it. I understand why IP is sort of the coin of the realm at this point, because it's very easy to say yes to. Nobody has to go out on a limb and be like, you know what? All right, fuck it. I read that script and I loved it.
Mhm.
Let's spend $100 million on it. Let's, whew, all right. I mean, I know it's not based on a novel or it's a remake or anything, but I love it. So let's do it. As opposed to, it's based on a thing that nobody really liked then, but at least it's based on a thing.
Right.
It allows people to make decisions and have a plausible deniability built into it. But like the hits this year, original shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sinners was massive.
Perfect.
And like, are we going? Is Hollywood going to do what it always does, which is take the wrong lessons from things, or is it going to just like decide maybe for once we can embrace, as some Disney executive said, original IP.
Mm.
We want
Well, they're
original IP.
they're already doing that with K-pop Demon Hunters because K-pop Demon Hunters is a really really good movie. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's got great hits. It's doing exactly what Disney movies used to do back in the Renaissance day. And they're like, we're gonna do all these sequels in a live action. It's like, no, 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 no. That's not what made it good. Give us some bangers. Give us some fun characters. Give us a fun, love story that we can enjoy. It's just, it just
Yeah. I
annoys
mean,
me.
K-pop Demon Hunters reminds me very much of like a Pixar movie from the mid 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, you know what? We just fucking love it. Does it have to be based on a thing? No. Does it have to be a sequel to anything? No. We're just fucking doing it because it's good.
Yeah.
And we're going to just invest all of this money into it because we believe in it. And Pixar is the brand. Pixar is the IP that
Mm-hmm.
allows you to just roll the dice. And now today, Pixar is just Sequel City. And it's like, yeah, remember when you guys like just made shit?
So exhausting. And not even a
It's
Bug's Life too. Toy Story 5?
yeah, yeah. I
Girl.
mean, where's my fucking Ratatouille?
Right? And it's very easy. That's good branding. Linguini's Revenge. Just like, come on.
Hell yeah. Um, but while we are talking about the desire to remake and reboot and sequel prequelize everything, let's talk about Frankenstein.
Yay! I love Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, based on the very first science fiction novel ever written. Also written by women. So I do love it when every now and again somebody says, well, H.G. Wells wrote the first science fiction novel, The War of the Worlds. Like, homie.
Well, actually.
Yes. It is the time to remind people that it was a 19-year-old young woman who invented science fiction. Um, it is a remake. It is a readaptation. This story has been told hundreds of times over the last 100 years. Um, some are good, some are great, some are not. Um, how did you feel about this one? And even before we do that, where was your what's your Guillermo del Toro appetite?
Oh, I love him. I love his work. When Shape of Water won Best Picture, I cheered. Everyone laughed at me, but I said I knew we could do it. We've won, monster fuckers. The fish shall inherit the world. I love Shape of Water, love Crimson Peak, love Pan's Labyrinth. I I think even when it's a movie that I don't 100% love, I love his sense of style, his direction. I love his passion for what he talks about. This is someone who just really loves films, and that really comes across in the production. And so when I heard he was doing Frankenstein, I was like, I am so excited. And then the reviews came out and it was mixed, so I was nervous, but I tried to go see something like that in theaters. And I saw it, I loved it, and then I went out and I bought this $70 giant making of Frankenstein book so I could just really, take it all in. I really loved it.
Smell it. Yeah, like I do not roll with Crimson Peak. That is my one.
Okay.
And also I didn't love Nightmare Alley.
Okay.
Um,
Fair enough.
but I what I love about Guillermo del Toro is that he loves monsters. But when I say he loves monsters, it's not the way Tim Burton loves monsters. Because Tim Burton, like his Batman movie is a Joker movie. His Batman 2 is a Catwoman movie and a Penguin movie.
Thank
Um,
God.
it's he fetishizes monsters, I think, in a way that Guillermo doesn't, because Guillermo, I don't think, believes in the idea of fetish. I think he's just like, I love it. I'm not fetishizing anything. This is just what I live and breathe, and my heart pumps the blood of monsters. And so everything he does um, is always from the monster's POV. And it's always sympathetic to the weird and the wild and the wonderful. And so I fucks hard with Guillermo del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, like, yeah, Frankenstein, sure. I get it. I get all of it. Like, it is the easiest layup. Guillermo del Toro's. What's it about? The OG monster. Oh, okay. I bet she's gonna be sexy. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Because I think Guillermo again doesn't fetishize, but does want to fuck this monster. You know, and then
And I
Oscar,
respect it.
I respect it. I respect that he's not fucking hiding it. Um, and yeah, the man does not know how to make a shitty frame. Like everything is designed, not even to say within an inch of its life, but with this level of like handmade care that it's just they don't make movies like this anymore. They just
Exactly.
don't. Um, Wicked actually comes close in that the whatever one thinks of John Chu's style as a director, they built all those fucking sets. Like they swallowed the universal stages.
Yeah.
And like all of that stuff existed in the real world at some point. And I always feel that way about a Guillermo movie, which is like, yeah, we built this fucking laboratory. We built all of this stuff. I'm sitting in his lab right now.
I know. There he is.
There's
My man,
Vicky.
my man. Mm-hmm.
And so I will always have a deep love for a person who, you know, just from he downloads his brain onto the page and then they can download it onto the stage. And then we just see people walk through his head. And every frame is a great frame. The camera's always where it's supposed to be. He always has a very, very like pulpy sensibility in the best way. And so like I love this dude's movies and I love watching him make movies. I love watching him talk about movies. He is the one interview I desperately want to do, but also want no part of doing. Because I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk to that dude because I don't know what to say to that dude other than like, you're fucking great. I
I
love
interviewed him once before.
did you.
I did when he was working on that animated show with Diego Luna. I was sitting like right across from him in this very tiny thing, and I'm just kind of like vibrating, like.
Yeah. It's like I want to be at a party where he's at and
Hmm.
somehow find myself in a conversation with him and like
Yeah.
three other people.
Hmm.
And then just kind of like every now and again, just, oh yeah, I know about that.
I'll make it happen.
I'll make it happen. Like I got to do that a little bit with there was a launch party like mid sort of pandemic. So it was very like weird and we'd all just come out and everybody had to test to go there, but it was for the Masters of the Universe redemption, no, revelation. Um and so Netflix threw a tiny party at the VP's house. And so the kind of cast and crew that was in town went. And so I ended up in this conversation with like Kevin, who was the sort of showrunner on it, and then Tiffany Smith, who was the voice of Andra, um, Eric Carrasco, another one of the writers, and fucking Sarah Michelle Gellar. And
Buffy herself.
and like just like trying my best to be fucking chill.
Hmm.
And like every now and again, she'd be like, "Oh, do you have kids?" Yeah,
I couldn't do no better. That's my boo.
you
Her and
know.
Lucy Lawless, that's just like that's my ideal blunt rotation. To be like, hello.
Yeah. So just like, can I just not make an ass of myself in this conversation?
Hmm.
That is what I want. Or for him to decide to adopt me as his ward, and then together we could fight cinematic crime.
Same. That's what I would like.
Yeah.
We could be adopted together.
Nice.
Yay,
Suddenly we're a
siblings.
secret black family.
Secret black family. No, I agree with everything you said. Like I think the care that he put into this work was so beautiful. And also as, you know, as an English major, um it's clear that he loves Mary Shelley's Frankenstein but also understands Mary Shelley herself and Mary Wollstonecraft, her mother, and is really thinking about the romantic capital R man and his construction of Victor Frankenstein. And I think that I saw some complaints about how like, oh, it's supposed to be more morally ambiguous. I think Del Toro understands that like if a man decides I'm going to take the dead bodies of what are probably impoverished people and sew them together to create life, That's the bad guy. And whatever came about from him being a deadbeat father, that's really on him. We're not going to say it's okay to kill people because that's bad, monster. Very bad, Jacob Elordi. However, daddy should have raised you better. And that's okay.
Yeah, hurt people, and I get it.
Exactly.
But yeah, who is the bad guy in this? Who is the monster?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Victor Frankenstein.
Frankenstein,
Frankenstein.
absolutely. And it's I think Frankenstein's monster has always been sympathetic. Like he was hanging out with Alvin and the Chipmunks. Everybody loved that little boy. Okay, he's a good guy, and a deadbeat dad will mess you up for life.
Absolutely. It is a cardinal sin, if ever
Mm-hmm.
there was one.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, I quite love this movie. Um, there's a bit of a weirdness where it's like the monster has followed fucking Victor to the ends of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and then Victor gets rescued by what seems to be the crew of the Endurance as they're trapped in the ice. And then he's like, "Let me tell you a story that will take a very long time to tell.
Mm-hmm.
The monster that is hunting me will give me enough time to tell you this story." And then the monster fucking shows up and he's like, "Let me tell you a story." And
Just
it's like
trauma dumping on that poor captain.
I know. Like it's a little weird in that like what feels incredibly like filled with pressure. It feels
Mm-hmm.
tense. It feels like, we're on rails. Like shit's about to go down after story time on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And it's funny because that's how the novel is too. And it's just like, wow, he's supposed to be dying. This is a very long death.
Does he have like consumption? Is that what he's dying from?
He's just very, very sick because he's been again running around all creation from his son, who's trying to get child support from him. And a deadbeat will do anything but pay his bills, child. So he's like, I gotta go.
I got to go.
I gotta get out of here. And I think it's just funny just how that whole thing comes together. And the guy is like, no, 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 don't shoot him. I want to hear the rest of this. This is good.
Yeah, it's like, no. Just
No,
fucking
no.
keep your powder dry. I gotta.
And then the wolves attacked. That's crazy.
God, God.
Can't
What
believe
happened
this.
next? So yes, I did love it.
Mhm.
Although I'm not sure I loved it quite as much as I'm in love with Pluribus.
Amazing. Vince,
Holy
you've done
shit.
it again.
God damn it. Like,
Ugh.
I will say this. First, beginning of this podcast, I went off at length about a television critic who has not seen Friends, who is then going to write about the Joey spinoff, and that part of that job seems to be having a working knowledge of the culture. I have never seen Breaking Bad, and I have never seen Better Call Saul. Um, but I'm also nobody's paying me to be a TV critic, so I feel all right about that. But what I did watch all of, and when I say all of, I mean fucking all of, was the X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go all the way back with fucking Vince Gilligan to him doing weird bumping monster shit in the night. Um, and so to see him kind of re-engage with those like sort of deep science fiction genre muscles
Mm-hmm.
and then apply it to everything that he's learned over the last 20 years of making TV. Um, and the thing that I do love about it, and from what I gather, is sort of a hallmark of the way he told stories on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul,
Mm-hmm.
is his deep love of process. Like, how does a thing work? And also, I'm going to show you how a thing works while you don't know that I'm showing you how it works. And then by the time we get to the end of this segment, you will understand why we started this segment. And so I'm not going to spoil too much of this show because it's on Apple TV. And
Yeah.
I don't know who fucking has Apple TV. I don't know who watches Apple TV.
Just me.
All I know is they're dropping the next episode tomorrow, opposite Stranger Things season 5.
Mm.
That goes to show how much Apple doesn't give a fuck about Netflix or viewers. Like we only got 6 viewers and they're going to come back anyway. And so we don't care.
Yeah.
But all I'll say is that it is not what you think it is. whatever you think it is. It's not that. Um, it is so patient and human and empathetic, and the perspective on what seems to be one of the worst people in the world, who you immediately understand why she's one of the worst people in the world. Um, it is the, I have gotten the note quite a bit over the last 10 years of working in TV. Our protagonist is not likable enough. It's
Mm,
like, no, it's the wrong note. The wrong note is, do you understand the protagonist? Protagonist can be fucking awful, but if you get it and if you can sympathize with the protagonist, then it's not a problem.
yeah.
And so Carol Sturka, the protagonist, played by Ray Seahorn, um, is deeply unlikable, but eminently understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I understand every decision she makes. I understand every choice that she goes down the path of. I understand every reason why she is the way she is. And yet, fucking Vince is still surprising every episode with a new test for who is this woman and why does she do what she does. Um, I've never been quite as curious about a TV show as I am about this one. Um,
Absolutely.
and that's even, sitting next to Lost in the fuck is going on? I'm leaning in because I want to know, but Jesus, what?
Yeah, that is one I didn't watch. That's my
That's
fatal flaw.
yours?
Yeah. I saw the series finale. I know how it ends, and I watched like the they had like the video, the like the hour special of like everything that you missed, and I was just like, I seen the
Bet.
show. I got it. I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
No, Pluribus is extraordinary, and I feel like I'm constantly on my toes of like, what genre am I playing in? Because, I'm a child of both the X-Files and the Twilight Zone. Is this X-Files, or is this, the monsters are due on Maple Street? Like, what
Mhm.
reality are we dealing in? And I just feel like I love a protagonist that is both active and angry at the same time. And I agree with you. Carol, there are times I'm like, wow, she's white woman and so close to the sun. But she is correct. Like,
Yeah. Not
it's like
wrong.
I'm not wrong at all. And I'd be like, listen, guys, I get it. The haircut's not helping, but y'all really gotta stop being so like lost in the sauce. It's very interesting, and I know the newest episode is finally out, and I'm gonna watch it, and I'm much more invested in that than Stranger Things. Like, I the when I think about the stage of my life that I was in when Stranger Things first came out, I'm like, how has it been this long? Like it's intense, but I love this show. I love a weekly show. I've realized through catching up on some older shows that I've been watching that I miss that week to week excitement of speculating on things and figuring things out and guessing. It's so satisfying, and I love it so much. I'm so glad that I get to have something to look forward to week after week, besides of course Welcome to Derry.
Well, yes. But yeah, I kind of hate a binge. I think we all have our sort of varying opinions, and we're all working through our feelings about binging. I think it sounded super great at the beginning, and maybe during a pandemic when we had no place else to go, it's like, fuck it, all right, I'm gonna watch Walking Dead, all of it this week, because I have nothing else to do, no place else to go. Um, but television, we do seem to be just trying our best to first break TV and then recreate it in a very expensive, painful way. And I was like, yeah, it turns out the TV week after week was a better experience. You know, like you got to live with a thing, you got to sit with a thing, you got to talk to people about a thing. Not even business wise. Like it was just better.
Yeah.
Like the economy of publicity worked on your behalf on a weekly show as opposed to we're just dropping it all at once.
And you knew who the characters were. And I think that's a really big thing, like why certain shows like Gilmore Girls, like Buffy, Charmed, etc. continue to be rewatches, because those characters have a life that you get invested in
Mm-hmm.
over those 22 episodes, and you see them go on just adventures that are just fun. Like, when it comes down to it, Hush, it's kind of a filler episode. Like, it's got a few things that tie into the main plot, but it's just a fun bottle episode that kind of experiments with the format, and it's brilliant. And you can't do that if you're trying to get beat in an 8 episode runtime. And you miss out on stuff. Like there's an episode of Buffy, I think it's called the Zippo or something like that. And it's a Xander episode, which is usually not great, but that particular episode is just really fun of getting to like follow that one character and see the world how he sees it, and it gives you insight into him, and we just do not have time for that now, and I think it's to the detriment of like long running shows.
Yeah, like it's I was talking to another writer and he came out of the network system and he just did desperately miss the exhaustion of a 22 episode season and like the fact that you break as a room. Like, we're out of ideas. We got nothing. And then you will start saying yes to the shit you would never say yes to. Like, all right, what if Angel's a puppet?
Great episode.
You know, you don't get fucking Puppet Angel if it's a 10 episode show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't get a tired staff. You don't have a desperate staff. You don't have a showrunner who's like, I don't fucking know what to do. Well, if Angel was a puppet, great. Fine. Can you have it on my desk by Monday?
Exactly.
You know, like that is what we've lost. We've gained quite a bit. I mean, there's TV on the air now that is all so fucking amazing that it's almost difficult to quantify. But we've lost insanity. Like, nobody's doing the weird fucking shit anymore. Unless you're Vince Gilligan, who's like, you know what, Apple, give me $100 million. I'm gonna make some weird shit. Oh, okay.
And they said you're.
Yeah. You know, or like, apparently I haven't seen it, but every description that I've heard of it from the chair company.
Oh, yes.
Like, oh, this is just weird shit.
People eating that up.
Yeah. Just what if David Lynch was also this? Like, oh shit. All right, cool. That's enough to make me check it out. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
There's so much to watch.
Yeah. And I will hit just one quick thing that I did see. I did go to see Predator Badlands.
Oh, how was that?
It is an incredibly well-made movie. It's well written, it's well directed. I am not entirely sure that I ever asked the question, what is a Predator homeworld like? What are their teenagers like? What's the father-son dynamic among the Predator world? Like, I don't think I ever really wanted a Predator as a protagonist. It's, if you're going to make that movie, this is a very well done version of that movie. It was just never a question I was asking. You know, it is almost the midichlorian of the Predator franchise, which is like, I mean, okay, but I was good with them just being the bad guys. I was great with, hey, you know what? Every one of these movies, we're going to drop in on a different human character in a different period in time and just tell that story and what happens when a predator crashes into it.
Right.
Because I thought Prey was phenomenal.
Oh, that's my Thanksgiving Day watch every year since I saw it. I love that movie. That ending, it's just so good.
It's great. It's great. So just do that. Just give me more of that. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, it's not interesting and it's not good to iterate and maybe try and find a new way into it. But I'm just not sure that was that was the answer to the question that I had. And so, you know, if you're a Predator completionist, you're gonna watch it, you know, and there is some cool shit in it. To be fair, it's just, I don't know if I was ever like, you know what? Yeah, tell me this story. Right. Angsty teenage predator.
You're not my real predator, Dad. I mean, as a Alien versus Predator apologist, mainly because I love the Shania Lathan Predator love story. That is the greatest Beauty and the Beast story that has ever been told. I feel like every Predator story could be fun, but then it's just like 20 minutes too long, most of them. And I'm just like, let's just like pull it back.
Yeah.
Pull it back.
It's like, I get it. But guys, this is very simple. Just make it simple, stupid.
Yeah, exactly. But I will check it out because I have wanted to see it. I do love the style. And you know what? We have to support our Black villains in media. Because as we know, Predator is also Black. That's why he has dreads, obviously. And so I'm gonna go there for solidarity. To see him.
You know he's a teenager with angst is because the dreads are pulled back into a ponytail.
Ooh, he got a Killmonger?
Yep. You don't know me, Dad.
You're the son of a killer.
He's very Judd Nelson in
Mm-hmm.
in Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fuck you, Dad. Why don't you smoke a whole pack? Fuck you, Dad.
Right.
It's a lot of that.
Uh, Excellent. Just
Excellent.
what I need in time, just in time for the holidays.
100%.
Angsty predator.
There's like not really news worth covering that unless there was something else that you've seen that you want to evangelize for or bring to the table and talk about.
Damn. What is going on?
What is going on?
I just I just love playing Hades 2. I'm playing Hollow Knight. Um yeah. There's going to be another Godzilla movie. They're making another Godzilla movie and I
Yeah,
love Godzilla. I have a little
Godzilla minus
Godzilla.
zero.
Yeah, I have a Godzilla over there. I got a Mothra shirt. I love Godzilla. I'll watch anything that has Godzilla in it, even if it's bad. And a
Is
lot
it
of it is.
a
So,
lo- Most of it is bad.
but I love him. That's my baby.
Yeah, I was flipping channels and because I still have cable like an oldster. And the I can't remember the name of the movie, but is it King of Monsters? Maybe where
God of
Godzuki,
Monsters.
God
Yeah.
of Monsters, where they
Mm-hmm.
introduce fucking the bullshit son of Godzilla, Godzuki.
Godzuki. That sounds like something. Maybe not say that on the
Yeah.
stream. I'll text you. But yeah, it's just like he is he's the Scrappy Doo of the
Yes.
Godzilla franchise. I was just like, and who the hell is this?
Yeah. Why are we
I
here?
I know that's not Mothra Child.
No.
Who's
Why is Poochie the fucking Godzilla boy here? And like, there's
mm-hmm,
a scene where he's like jump roping on Godzilla's tail,
mm-hmm,
and I'm like, this sequence is like 20 minutes long of precocious fucking Godzilla
mm-hmm,
spawn playing with dad who doesn't want to play.
mm,
Nobody asked for this.
yes.
Nobody asked.
No. It was funny in the latest I think this was King Kong X Godzilla, the shipping
Mhm.
movie,
Yep.
where like King Kong takes a baby Kong and like uses him as nunchucks to hit someone. And I thought is like that's a great use of children. Just to like
I
slap someone with the
I
monkey
struggled
baby.
so hard with those movies
There's so
because like I too have a deep fucking love for Godzilla, born from childhood, which I think it
hmm
has to be.
yeah.
I was like, at least either try a little bit harder with these human stories or just don't have them.
It's the one thing. It's the thing that breaks me every time. I don't care about these people. But you know what it is and I realized this when I was watching uh Wicked for Good. We're so good at monkey technology, but lizard technology, we're still working through the struggle because they will have King Kong in that movie for 80%. They will be hoarding Godzilla from you. And I'm like, why? They can't afford it.
Well, I mean, I think they know where the money shot is coming from. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we got this monkey, whatever. The monkey's gonna, frolic and gallivant and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla's the closer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla shows up, like it's gonna fucking go down.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because I mean, Jurassic Park was really the beginning of that, and it's just a fun Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be great at this.
Right.
They just
But
don't know what to do with him.
they don't know what to do. And I think it's also hard because those movies are just so American military propaganda at every turn. It's just like weird when it's Godzilla. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like like what the part in I think the second one with Ken Watanabe where he's like, I'm gonna go and blow myself up to re-radiate Godzilla. And I was watching it with my then boyfriend who is half Japanese, and he was just like, "This is weird," and I was just like, "Girl, I know. I warned you before we
Yeah.
watched it.
It's all weird.
It's all weird." And that's the only Japanese man in this movie. After this, it's it's no more. But I still love all of them, and I will watch the next one because it gave me Mecha Godzilla, and that's what
I
I asked
mean,
for.
it's the romantic comedy
Hmm.
genre for nerds, which is like, you know what? Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter if it's bad.
Hmm.
At some point, somebody's going to run across a fucking train station to stop the train from taking off with the person they love. Or at some point, somebody will be wearing like a robe and slippers and dancing to some Motown song. Or like it'll scratch the itch you have at the time.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's good or not. And Godzilla movies are that, which is the like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna hate it. And I know I will, but it won't stop me from watching it because it's Godzilla.
Exactly.
If we can agree on anything, it's Godzilla.
Godzilla rocks.
Hell yeah. Godzilla 2028. Here for it. Godzilla and Admiral Adama is the ticket that I
Right.
want for 2028.
Yeah. I just want finally Godzilla and Mothra to go on a date. I want them to just go on a date and they get interrupted by King Ghidorah. Just give me a rom com. I want a romantic action thriller with Mothra and Godzilla. That's what the people want.
That's
It's
what the people want.
true. It's true, Warner Brothers. I know. I'm plugged in.
Dear Legendary, here's what I'd like you to do.
This is the people are starving for romance. Give them Mothra and Godzilla at last.
Yes, it is a very specific kink, but deliver unto the people what they've asked for.
You don't have to show whole, just show love.
I mean, they've been showing us whole for 3 movies now. We have to go through the fucking Hollow Earth.
Girl,
Just nothing but giant holes.
Hollow Earth, when they introduced that into the series, I had a moment where I had to just sit there and be like, some Hotep's gonna really internalize this. And then take a step back and then just be like, but I'm not them. Play.
Let's fucking go. So yeah, we're gonna skip the news because there's not that much news. I think we do need to hit the passing of a legend
Mm,
this past week. The great Udo Kier. If you are not familiar with the work of Udo Kier, I don't even know what you're doing here.
mm-hmm.
Um, he was somehow both a like legendary German actor who worked with like Lars von Trier and Gus Van Sant and fucking Rainier Werner Fassbinder on a bunch of shit. And he's also in Blade, and he's also in
Yep.
Armageddon,
Mm.
and
And
he's
it
also in like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
and the Let Me Blow Your Mind music video with Eve and Gwen Stefani.
Hell yeah. And like all of Madonna's sex book.
Hmm.
Um, he seemed to be a dude who liked to work and who liked to just be a little fucking weird. I mean, he's in Andy Warhol's fucking Flesh for Frankenstein
Hmm.
and Blood for Dracula. Like, he's a dude who did weird shit, and God bless him. He looked weird. He sounded weird. He is in your favorite movie of all time. We talked about the other day, Barbed Wire,
Oh yes, yes, a classic. I own it in 4K, as should all people.
as should everybody.
Hmm.
But yeah, he was a staple of the weird in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and just seemed to enjoy it. Like it was. I love a person who embraces kind of who they are and they find their stride and they just have fun. He's a character actor and he seemed to have been a character. And he
Yeah,
just had one of those fucking faces that the minute you saw him, you're like, oh, this is that kind of movie. And then he'd surprise you and like, fuck it. I'm going to be in My Own Private Idaho, or I'm going to be in Europa or Breaking the Waves or Dogville. You know, I'm going to do great work and I'm going to do fun work. And then
exactly.
sometimes it'll be the same thing.
With those beautiful, beautiful eyes that
Oh,
can like just. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. I'm just like all the baddies, my beautiful gay baddies. It's okay.
it's the best. So thank you, Udo Kier, for making movies so fucking weird, um, but never once looking down on them for being weird.
Exactly.
Um, and that is a rare gift. So pour one out for the great Udo Kier, who's left us at 81 years old. Fly safe. Um, I think that's a show. Should we do a little
Oh,
Q&A? Were there any A's to Q? Banff man, what do you think?
I'm down to ace some cues.
Bamf.
Hey, there he is.
We had one. I got one.
Fucking let's hit one.
I'm sure a bunch will pop up now, but Mark Duffy asked, who says, I was born in Derry, Ireland. Would you like to see Andy Muschietti or Dr. Sleep director like Mike Flanagan do a Shining remake?
Mm.
Uh, what do you feel, Princess? Where do you land?
I feel like we have two versions of The Shining. One that is, it was like a mini series that's close to the book. Then we have the amazing movie by Stanley Kubrick. I think that's enough. I just don't think that the shadow of the Kubrick film has waned at all. That to make something called The Shining will be worth it for anyone. It's I think it's just too much work. It's too much of a legendary product. Just read the book.
Yeah, it's a bit like Kubrick is hard that way.
Mm-hmm.
In that, like, I suppose somebody can take another stab at 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's a book. He just adapted a book. Somebody else could take a run at the same book, as we've seen with Frankenstein. Happens all the time, but nobody has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something so singular about the way he made movies that, like, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet, you know. And I don't know who you cast who's going to be as revelatory as Jack Torrance,
Mm-hmm.
the way that Nicholson was. Um, Despite the fact that Stephen King disliked the casting of Jack Nicholson,
Mm-hmm.
you
And it
know.
makes sense because I love the book The Shining. I understand from like an adaptational standpoint why it's frustrating because like you never believe Jack Nicholson isn't already on the edge.
Yeah,
So it works, and I feel like I'm blanking on his name right now, but the actor from Breaking Bad, actually, I'm like, if they were to remake it, I think he'd be a great Jack Torrance. But I also feel like what I love about The Shining is how like emotional and in depth it is. But I feel if it's adapted super faithfully, you have to have the evil hedges. And I've seen that be attempted. People are not afraid of hedges, and it just is the way it is.
it's really hard. It's really
Mm-hmm.
hard to make, foliage terribly scary. Um, I mean, the thing that I would want though is, and we've talked about this on the It podcast. I want the fucking Dick Halloran story.
Yeah.
I just want that dude. I mean, we will not spoil anything that happens in It Welcome to Derry, though we have seen all of it. Um, but I think that Chris Chalk's performance as Dick Halloran is phenomenal,
Mm-hmm.
and the ability you now have to, and listen, I'm not going to spoil anything by saying he survives, because of course he does.
Yeah.
Um, but where that dude goes from the end of Welcome to Derry, from the black spot that leads him to working at the Overlook Hotel. That story's great. Like, give me that
Absolutely.
story. And even if you have to do The Shining, then do it from his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's not the same fucking thing we've seen over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Find a different way in, find a different angle on it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, just straight up doing The Shining seems like a fool's errand.
I would see a Shining musical though. I think that if they can Les Mis it, I'd be into it.
I mean, you know how much money you would fucking make by, like, act one being in the hotel and act two being in the fucking hedge maze. You
That'd
know,
be sick.
like, if you could crack that shit, like, that would run like cats on fucking Broadway.
I know. It would just I feel like you could have like the background people be the ghosts and have that kind of like, like ghostly reprise kind of thing going on. Like I think it actually would make quite a fun musical. You know what? Let's not say anymore. Let's just get to work after the
Yeah,
pod.
I'm a
This is
I'm a
how
I'm a
this,
I'm a text Lynn. Hey,
yeah.
homie, I have this
Hey,
idea.
hey boo. I know you love a long project. Have you
Yeah,
thought about The Shining on
I
stage?
I can read a book too on vacation. What about this?
Exactly.
Um, I'm not throwing away my shine.
Or am I?
Or am I? Uh, that was a good first question.
Mhm.
That's all I got. People were
All
That's all you
just
right.
got.
hanging with us all night.
I love a good
Yay.
hang.
Yay.
Let me see. I think I saw something. Oh, yeah. AZ1089 said, "What movie or TV show or media would you want to experience again for the first time?
Mm.
What's the thing you'd like to be like, you know what? Fuck, I want to be a virgin for that again."
Touch for the very time. Um, Maybe the Iron Giant.
Ooh.
I really like the Iron Giant to me, the best Superman movie. And that end, I can't even, as soon as I start watching the ending sequence, I start breaking into tears. I would like my innocence back. I would like to be able to just cry for the first time with that. I think that is definitely like number one for me.
Yeah, that's a hard fucking question. Um, because like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for the first time again.
Mm,
I'd like to be in a theater opening night for Endgame again.
mhm.
Like, but I'd also like to watch, fucking Raiders for the first time again and E.T. for the first time again. Like, there's so much of my childhood that I've now seen hundreds of times because I just can't not watch it. Like, I love this thing.
Mhm.
But just that first, like,
Mhm.
that heady rush of just what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I want that. You know what I want? I want 1984's Dune back.
One of my faves. I have that in 4K as well.
I mean, it is such a deeply fucked up movie, but also
Mhm.
beautiful, but also weird, but also tragic, but also glorious.
Mhm.
But like, I remember watching that movie and not understanding any of it the first time I saw it, and then had to rewatch it again immediately to be
Yeah.
like, what the fuck was this? I don't understand this.
Mhm.
Give me more of this.
Yeah.
I miss that feeling of just being tantalized by art.
Does it
Specifically that.
does it affect you the same way though later? Like I wanted to say The Matrix, but when I went in and I saw The Matrix, I had never seen a trailer or anything. I didn't know what it was. I went with my friend who was like, "Let's go see The Matrix." I was like, "Whatever, okay." Star Wars is coming out in 2 weeks, so sure. Um and I was so blown away, but I still remember it because I was 18.
Mhm.
So it's not like when I saw Raiders when I was like 4 and I saw it at 6 and then I saw it at 8. So it's just this homogenous thing that's always been part of who I am.
Mhm.
Like I remember The Matrix and how that blew my mind.
Yeah. It's like I
Oh,
remember seeing Terminator 2 in the theater
Yeah.
and being like, holy shit, Arnold is the good guy. Spoilers, in case you've never seen Terminator 2. But that fucking twist, like that's what
Yeah.
you want. You want what's the twist you want to get back?
Right.
You
I
know?
yeah, I think Alien, I actually saw it for the first time in theaters a couple of years ago. And I knew a big bulk of the movie. So like the chest busters was okay. When that robot started milking it, I jumped. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And everyone's looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, I'm sorry, this is my first time. No one can be a virgin, I guess. But I was very surprised.
Yeah. I do wish, like the Sixth Sense would be good to see for the first time again, just for that,
Mm-hmm.
like, shit, he's the ghost. What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean it's hard to choose just one. Like I'd love to fucking listen to Living Colors Vivid for the first time again.
Uh,
You know, like I'd love to listen to fucking Outcast ATLians for the first time. Like
watch Full Metal Alchemist for the first time.
mm,
I love I love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but the first Full Metal Alchemist season, that series changed me. And there's a major death that happened that when I saw it, I turned my TV off. I was like, and I called my sister and I'm like, why didn't you tell me about this? And she was like, so that you could emotionally feel it. And then I decided I would never going to feel again. I'm like, well,
that's
we're done with that.
do you
I
think
mean,
though? Would it be the same though if you didn't experience like I just watched my wife went out of town and I have a 5-year-old daughter and
Aw.
she was out of town. My wife was out of town, and I was like, "Honey, we're gonna watch a really cool movie. We're gonna watch a movie called The Princess Bride." And I sat down and I watched it with my daughter, and she had a lot of questions, like Fezzik, like the fact that Fezzik and Inigo are like bad guys at the beginning, but then good guys at the end was so far beyond her. Like she's just like, well, bad guys are bad guys, good guys. I was like, well, they're not really bad guys. They went over her head. So I was like, maybe she was too young. Did I just spoil it? And then she woke up the next morning. She comes out and she goes, Dad, I really like The Princess Bride. Can we watch it again?
Yay, you won.
Victory.
But would it be the same? Because like watching it now, I'm attaching it to like when I saw it when I was little. Would it trigger the same thing? I guess if it's good enough, right?
That's the hope. You know, the hope is not to recreate a time and a place, you know, all of the attendant memories that go with it, as opposed to just selective amnesia. I want to erase this movie from my memory so that I can watch it for the first time again. You know, I don't know if you can do that with a shitty movie that you've come to love as much as you can with, like, I'm gonna watch a great movie that I now have never seen before.
Yeah. And I think certain scenes will always give you chills. Like, as corny as it is, like the part in Casablanca when they all start singing in the bar, like all like it always, I'm just like, revolution. That'll always make me feel good. Or like, I remember the first time I used to have a thing where I never cried during real movies. I only cried during cartoons. And the first movie with real life people that I ever cried in was Big Daddy, the Adam Sandler movie.
Whoa.
when
Did not expect.
because I was little and like when the little boy is being taken away from Adam Sandler's character, I was like, kids can be taken away from the parent they want. And him just like, and I remember I was just crying while he's going like, but I can wipe my own ass. And I just thought it was the saddest thing in the world. And every time I watch it now, I'm like, I can't believe I cried about this when I was like 7, but secretly I'm like, it's such a bad movie, but I do like, I think the idea of like being taken away from your parent makes me sad.
I remember going to a screening of Denzel Washington's directorial debut, a film called Antoine Fisher, which is not a great movie, but it was like me and another writer from EW at the time named Chris Nashwati, and we're sitting in this screening room in Manhattan. There's like one other journalist in the room. So, and you know, whatever. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. We were both fucking off. It's like, all right, let's go see the screening. It gets to the end of this movie, and you know, Antoine Fisher is, if I remember correctly, about a security guard who worked at a movie theater lot, you know, or sorry, on a movie lot, who has this horrendous fucking childhood story about being like orphaned and then adopted and then abused and then like, and somehow manages through the grace of, you know, friends and God and whatever, you know, discovers the life that he never knew that was possible for him. He discovers his birth family. And the last scene in the movie is him showing up at this house, like he screwed all of his courage to the sticking place, to knock on the door of his birth family, who knew he was coming. And he walks into this house, and he just sees this table full of food. You know, like they just made anything that he could possibly want for breakfast. And so much of his life had just been deprivation, had been like there was never enough of anything. Nobody had ever shown him the love you show by making a meal for him. And so to walk into this house of the people that he'd never met, who had just cooked all this food for him, I started to fucking bawl. And I look over and Chris is crying. And I look over and like unnamed movie critic is crying. We're all just a fucking mess. And like we get out of the theater, we're looking, like, oh, you. And we just didn't understand how we all just crumbled into fucking Kleenex puddles. And I just, that is one of my favorite screening memories of just us. No.
I love
And
that.
I have a funny film school story similar to that, but very different. We went and saw Kevin Costner's For the Love of the Game in the movie theater. This group of like 20 of us. Like, what, you know, we were freshmen, so it's like you first make that giant group of friends that you don't keep much longer than the first couple months. And we're sitting there, and I'm probably like the least film schooly person. I'm like, Star Wars Episode 1. And everybody else is, into real film school stuff to prove a point. And so we're sitting there, and I'm sitting next to this guy, and we're watching for the love of the game. And he throws the spoilers. He throws the perfect game at the end as the washed up pitcher. And the guy next to me stood up, jumped up, pumped his fist, and was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then we walk out of the theater, and he goes, it was mediocre.
What?
And I was like, dude, you just stood up and had like the most emotional reaction to any movie ever. But like the film school thing had to be like cliche. It's like, it worked.
Boo, performative male, boo.
You're the worst.
Get out of here, dog. I hate that shit. Feel whatever the movie makes you feel. Like, we're human beings. We're supposed to be moved by goddamn art, okay? I love Big Daddy. Like, it's okay.
my version of your Big Daddy story is I can't help myself with the Bradley Cooper A Star is Born. Anytime I see it, and it's always on a fucking airplane, which is so bad. Mm-hmm. Anytime I get on an airplane, I turn it on, and inevitably I cry twice in the movie. And everybody's always looking at me like, why are you crying? And then they see Lady Gaga, and they're like, why are you crying? But every time.
Because you're moved by Gaga.
30 times. Yeah, 30 times.
No.
And also planes are unfair scenarios for emotional stability. Like, you're just, the conditions are such that you're going to cry watching a movie on a plane. Mm-hmm. You're predisposed to it. It's unclear if it is A Star is Born or if it's you're on a plane watching A Star is Born.
Porque no los dos, like truly. I always think it's funny though when you're trying to share a movie that makes you cry, but you forgot how much it makes you cry. Like, I was doing it on my Patreon, we'll do like these movie watches, and for some reason, I was like, let's do the Joy Luck Club. That's a great movie. I love Ming-Na Wen. And then the last 20 minutes, I'm just sobbing about like everything going on in the movie. And I'm like, why did I do this? I knew it was sad, but I didn't realize how sad it was.
Yeah, the last time that happened to me was Wicked Part 1. It was that dance scene, and it just fucking snuck up on me.
So
and I just like, what's happening? What? I don't. Holy shit! And just like my face is all wet. Like my lips are doing the things where it's trying not to cry, but like, let me have this. Just, I'm gonna fucking be a wreck for a little bit.
It's all right. You're allowed to. Could I ask y'all a question?
Shoot.
What was your first rated R movie?
I know it, which is crazy. When Die Hard came out on VHS for the first time, when did it come out? 88, 89? So I would have been 6 or 7. My parents rented Die Hard on VHS, and I watched that. I think that was probably my first rated R.
Nice.
Yeah, mine was Fame.
Ooh, I'm gonna live forever.
I'm gonna live forever. That's a dark fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I think it was on HBO. Like, and I was up too late because I think there was an 8:00 cutoff, and I must have been 1982, so I was 11 years old, and like when that fucking skeevy photographer makes Coco take her top off, I'm like, why am I feeling all of these feels? This is bad, but also not bad, but also the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm confused. This is why I was too young to watch this.
Exactly. You're like, I don't know which feelings I'm supposed to have right now, but none of them are good.
None of them are good. Why couldn't it just be Porky's? Porky's is basic and simple. Yeah, I think that was the one. Nice. That was the one. My parents were not great about that. Like, they were not like, let the boy watch whatever he wanted to watch. Mm-hmm. My mother wouldn't let me watch Octopussy until I came of age. Just because it's called Octopussy.
That's so responsible.
It is. It's like, but it's PG-13. It's like, I'm not letting you watch anything called Octopussy.
I feel like stuff was weird. Somebody just said RoboCop, and I remember watching RoboCop when it came out when I was in first grade, because I remember like us kids talking about it. Parents in the 80s were fucking crazy. Can you imagine? Like,
the way y'all
RoboCop
survived.
is nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a cop. How bad could it be?
Right? And like, they'll get them propagandized young. Mine was Gladiator in theaters. And I got my dad to take us because I basically said, like, Dad, but look, it's just like Xena. Like, this is ancient times. It's history. And then I sat through it, and it was very good. And it gave me many complicated feelings about Joaquin Phoenix that I'm still unpacking to this day. But it was great.
Yeah. I mean, it's the like, you don't want the shitty rated R movie to be your first rated R movie. Somehow, I guess, I mean, I would get to a lot of other shitty rated R movies. Like, I worked in a video store when I was in high school, and like watched every bad fucking movie that came out between 1984 and 1988. And there's a lot of bad ones, but they all were just puerile enough that it's like, what are we doing? I'm gonna watch Jean-Claude Van Damme beat up this dude, and I'm gonna watch somebody take their top off because it's 1987 and this is what we do.
Amen.
And it's never steered me wrong.
Violence and titties. It never goes bad. Never, ever.
It's the American way.
Ever.
Yes. All right. I think that's the end of question and answer time on this here podcast. Unless there was anything else that like came down the transom that was like, oh, you got to talk about that.
I mean, the one thing that came down that I think is interesting. Apologies. Fat Titties 85 asked, I wanted to know from Princess, which anime would you like to see made into a big budget live action movie?
Oh, Lord. Well, none of them. I genuinely do not like taking animation and just superimposing live action onto it. I think most of them don't really fit. Because I think it would be either really bad special effects, or like they would either like localize it and remove the Japaneseness from it, that I think would kind of suck. However, I would pay a lot of money to have someone do a series of adapting Akira the manga, because the manga is different. It's more condensed. Like the movie's more condensed than the manga. The manga is big and there's a lot of world building and stuff. I would love to see a really well done, well animated, long anime adaptation of the manga of that. And that's it. I do not. I've been burned too many times with the live action. You know, I don't want it. Even Sailor Moon, which I love, which is my passion. She's meant to be seen on screen by cartoons. I'll write it. I'll write an adaptation. I think you can definitely reanimate it and do stuff, but I have no desire to see people do that.
Yeah, the track record is not particularly good. Yeah. Of like, hey, we made an anime adaptation. Well, how'd it go?
Right. I think the closest one I could think of right now that might be good would maybe be Full Metal Alchemist, but I don't trust the casting. But I think Full Metal Alchemist has sort of like a global sort of thing, or like Spy Family, I think would be fun as live action, but there's very few, and I just feel like animation is a great medium in itself. We don't need to mix it up.
Where do you come down? And I don't want anybody to fucking firebomb anybody, but where do you land on One Piece?
Oh, I like One Piece. It's just a lot. And I'm not going to rush through that. Like when the whole big three was happening between Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, I chose Bleach. And I'm very content with my choice, but I enjoy One Piece for what it is. It's a lot, and I'm just not going to rush through it.
And what about the live action?
Oh, it's cute. I like it. It's very accessible, and my friends who are very, very big One Piece fans like it a lot, and that's what made me go into it. The fact that the Yu Yu Hakusho one was such ass really broke me because I love Yu Yu Hakusho. It's one of my favorite shonen mangas of all time, and I just flames on the side of my face. At least Death Note gave us Willem Dafoe as the Shinigami. I'm like, that's at least fun, and that was good, and I can live with that. But the Yu Yu Hakusho, it was just terrible. No good. Bye. Mm-mm.
Oh, good. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, asked and answered, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
Don't do it. Just
don't do it.
let anime be anime.
Yeah. Just like teenage suicide. Don't do it.
Don't do it. On that cheery note, I mean, it is a cheery note. Fucking don't do it. Stick around.
Don't do it.
Stick around. It's the world's better with you in it than not. More often than not. Yeah, I didn't need to go there, but I fucking did. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he, she's, theys, and thems. I hope you had a good time tonight. I want to thank, the fucking Chubbies folks for continuing to keep us on the air, for helping us pay the bills, even when Kevin is not around. So thank you to the good folks at Chubbies. Go to chubbyshort.com, use the code FATMAN at checkout, save a little scratch. I want to thank JC for keeping us on the air, for making it all happen. But more than anybody, I want to thank Princess Weeks for fucking hanging out, for staying up late. Like, I know it's a Tuesday in New York City. There's like a dozen raves and 2 or 3 fight clubs and probably a street race happening that you could be at. But instead, you decided to hang out on the internet with me.
And it's good to put my habit of drag racing with no license to the side to be here for you, Mark, because working with you has been like one of the highlights of this very strange year, and I'm just so glad that we got to do this. And you're the best. Mark is as cool as you guys all think he is, and that's the facts, dude.
Nobody thinks I'm cool, and it's safer that way. I get to get away with more shit if you don't think I'm cool.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm deeply uncool. That's why I'm around at any time of the night.
Please, you're booked and busy. All right.
Cool. Let me have this.
Okay, fine.
But yes, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for answering insightful questions from the internet. I'm talking about movies and TV shows that you have seen and sometimes not. For humoring me and my insanities, like every third morning. You're awesome. Thank you for hanging out.
Of course. I love you, Mark.
Yay. And that is an episode of Black Man Beyond. I'm not sure when we'll be back. It is definitely not going to be until after Thanksgiving. We are not kind of fucking crashing a show for Thanksgiving. Nobody is that crazy. But yes, we will see you soon. Either me and Kev, or just me, or me and some other mystery lovely guest will drop into the Black Cave and we'll have a good ass time. But until then, thank you for coming. We'll see you next time. I have been Marc Bernardin. That has been Princess Weeks.
Hi.
Thank you to JC. Same black time, same black channel, smodcast.com or youtube.com/Kevin Smith. Deuces, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you when we see you.
Bye.
This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything.
Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,